I did know.
All right, this is Shelley Smith, and she's a sales and business coach and passionate health and cannabis advocate. She has coached clients in the mortgage, real estate, insurance, automotive, and financial services for the last 4 years. She's been consulting in the cannabis industry for 3 years and is committed to educating the masses about safer pain management alternatives. Also, Kelly and I just recently co-led a visioning session in this very room. So she does wonderful work that I know about, and this is work of hers that I don't know about. So I'm excited to learn.
Yay, Shelley! Woo!
Thank you so much. Julie in the back is one of our Blue Sage consultants.
Hi, everybody.
So before I talk about why we're here, what we're doing, I'm just curious why you came. Have you heard about CBDs before and you were wondering, or you just saw the sign and wandered in because you didn't have anything else to do? Why did you, yes?
I came here because I've talked to Mark Wagner about his research, and he's dealt with his mother who has Alzheimer's, reduced
Okay.
all of her meds, and then put her on some kind of CBD.
CBGA, I think.
I don't know
Yeah.
which
Wow.
one, but now
Okay.
she's functioning really well,
Oh,
winning bridge tournaments.
wow, okay. That's pretty powerful, okay.
I came for one reason because my grandson is a senior in high school and he has a lot of anxiety. And his parents took him to a doctor. He was diagnosed with ADD, on meds.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Oh, meds are bad for anxiety. I was on it.
Well,
Sorry.
and he's having panic attacks with meds. So, you know, I'm gonna see them at Thanksgiving. I wanna maybe offer something.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You don't all have to speak, you're just curious, yes?
I've got neuropathy, and I have to walk with this piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
And I'd like anything that'll help.
Okay, yeah. So the video that I was hoping to show you was Julie and I were at Crazy Wisdom on Monday night. There were people in the audience and they agreed to give me testimonials on camera. One lady said she was a couple of days away from putting her dog down and took the dog off the pills that they gave him, started putting CBD drops in his food. Now he runs around like a puppy. So she did not put her dog down. So we have him choose these
I
CBD.
think it would work for cats.
You know what? That is what we're talking about. That's what we're doing research on right now. We're working on that because we mainly have dog responses and evidence. The next lady said I was on 2 different kinds of depression medication and I think a blood pressure medication was the third one. And she weaned herself off also using CBDs. The other lady had been prescribed oxycodone and a couple of other super powerful painkillers for the last couple of years. And when her insurance changed, it was going to be totally
Unaffordable.
not covered, unaffordable, plus she was feeling addicted to it. So she started taking, replacing slowly with medibles and CBDs, and now she's totally off the oxycodone. So the reason why Julie and I like doing this is, aren't those great stories?
Yes.
Yeah, don't you love stories like that, where somebody can say, I stopped having to spend money, or on something that was harming me, right? So we got this, this is one of the clients that came to Blue Sage for a consultation. I recently celebrated 30 days free of Vicodin. My daughter recommended this CBD topical for my arthritis, but I was extremely hesitant, so she brought me home this 250 milligram CBD lavender lotion to try. Ever since I've been using it every morning when I wake up, and within 20 minutes the swelling in my fingers and wrists goes away. I can't believe how well it worked. So you can tell why we're excited. We want to hear more stories like this instead of this person got addicted to painkillers, or this person went into debt because of all their medications, or this person went on medications and instead of it helping them, it made their condition worse. So we also, so we're going to talk about what it is, how people use it as a supplement, and why you may not have heard about it before. We're also going to talk about why sourcing, why where you get it is important. Okay? So does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna. So what is CBD? CBD is short for cannabidiol, okay? So it's just, when we say CBD, we mean cannabidiol. It's the non-psychoactive component of the cannabis plant. So it binds to receptors throughout the body known as the endocannabinoid system, which most people our age and older never learned because they weren't really researching it. You learned about the circulatory system, you learned about, so the endocannabinoid system is the system of receptors in all the organs of our body that we produce our own we produce our own cannabinoids, but sometimes you might feel deficient, really. And so if you think about how do any of you take any supplements? Like I take fish oil, I take a probiotic. There's been times when I take a vitamin C supplement. Do you guys supplement with anything?
Yeah.
Okay, and why do you do it?
Because it's supposed to help stuff. It's supposed
It's supposed to help stuff because I'm old, right? But really, like if you get enough sunlight, you probably don't need a lot of vitamin D. And if you get enough potassium, you probably don't need a potassium pill, right? But we don't naturally get everything we need, so we seek out supplements. So think of CBD as a plant supplement the way you would think of ginger or lemon or anything like that, okay? So we believe in plant medicine all around. So if you've ever drank cranberry juice because you had a urinary tract infection, or you rubbed eucalyptus on your chest when you had a cold, or you put lemon and honey in your tea, plant medicine is a normal thing. It's an ancient thing. There's nothing weird about it. So why haven't we been hearing about this? This is, what were you going to say?
big money.
Yeah, because of Big Pharma, that's why.
Yes. Thank you for the lead-in, Carol. Okay, so it's a totally normal thing, but here's a quote that is a blatant statement of how we've been misled about cannabis. I was wrong about cannabis, and I apologize for my role in that. Do you know who said that?
Barack Obama?
No.
Good guess, though.
Yes.
That's a good guess, yeah.
Yes, he doesn't seem like the misleading about cannabis type, but it was actually...
That Indian doctor.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
you
Sanjay
got it.
Gupta.
Good
We
job.
have been terribly and systematically misled for nearly 70 years, and I apologize for my role in that. So he did a CNN documentary, I think it was called,
Not sure what it was
I changed my mind
called.
on weed, why I changed my mind about weed, or something like that. And he talked all about how there's been a huge amount of propaganda treating this plant, that's just a plant,
It's just a plant.
different from every other plant. Like aloe's never been outlawed,
Right.
right? Mint has never been outlawed. Sage has never been outlawed. So he's acknowledging that that is true. Another man acknowledging that is true is Andrew Weil, so famous doctor, and one of the things that he talks about is pharmaceuticals are amazing discoveries, right? I would never be the person who says, stop taking all your pharmaceuticals. I don't know. There's life-saving things out there. I understand that. However, often they're made from taking this one part of a plant that is the wondrous part and then making it into a chemical that is supposed to interact with your body and help you. And what he's saying is, why aren't we just using the plant? The plant is better. The plant is whole medicine. It's not isolated. It knows how to work with your body because it's a natural thing. So, this is what we need to know about the endocannabinoid system, which we've never heard of before, right? Because in 1992, I was already way out of high school, so we didn't even talk about it. So we learned that about our muscular system and our skeletal system. But had you ever heard endocannabinoid system? Anyone? I hadn't either. So it's a series of receptors that are all throughout your organs and bodies that have, they are specifically designed to receive the cannabis molecule. So we took out most of the super technical pictures of science that we had in there because that...
Is it part of the nervous system?
No, it's a separate system. It's a system, the way that your muscles are all your muscles. And they're connected to your bones, but they're not your bones. And your digestive system works with your bloodstream, but it's not your bloodstream, right? So when people talk about if you heal your gut, you'll heal your body. You know, if you can heal your gut, then your blood and your joints and everything will react to that. That's why so many people do cleanses and all that. So the reason why we're going to get into this, we're going to get into, you know, if your digestive system is compromised, if it's out of balance, it affects everything else. If your skeletal system is compromised, it affects everything else. Same with your endocannabinoid system. Because its job is to regulate homeostasis throughout the whole entire body. So the reason why people, you see people who say, this helped me with my ADD, and this helped me with my knee pain, and this helped my dog, is because it's working on something that is involved with so many different systems. So that is what the research is telling us. So, oh, good. This is very good explanation. So they're found throughout the body and the organs, and they're connected to and affecting all of these different things.
What's the green in the red, can you say?
Oh, yes, that is where receptors are located. And Julie, tell me the difference between the green and the red.
The CB1 receptors, I believe, are the green, and the CB2 are the red.
It's two different
types.
kinds. Yeah, it's two different kinds. So if you think about all the molecules within a plant, there's all these different molecules, and there is a, is this it?
It's the, yep, everybody's got that.
Right, okay, everybody's got that. So you see all these different compounds that are present. And so there's receptors that receive those compounds. And this is showing, you know, the location of those. Okay, so one of the things that, so Michigan has already started talking about all this. We've been talking about cannabis for 7 or 8 years now. When I was in South Carolina visiting my mom, no, actually when she was here, she came during art fair and it was really hot, and I said, I know a really cool air-conditioned place where we can go to the bathroom. And it was my friend's dispensary. And she was very hesitant, and I said, well, it's 98 degrees outside. If you want a really cool place to go to the bathroom, this is where we're going. It's a beautiful place. And we went up to Ohm of Medicine, and on the way up in the elevator, she kind of whispers to me, you know, a friend of mine's son has seizures his whole life. He never developed past, 4 years old, but he's like 24 years old. And she started sneaking around and getting CBDs, and she doesn't want to get caught. You think you could help her? So she's whispering to me about it. I'm like, it's okay here, Mom. We're in a dispensary. But the thing is she has a fear. She has a legitimate fear that this thing that is this plant, substance is going to harm her friend's child. So I called her and sent my mom home with some tincture that she's been using with her son now. And he's less agitated and he's less frustrated. And she's very grateful. So why was she worried that it was safe? Here's why. Okay, have you heard that there's an opioid epidemic?
Yeah, my nephew died from it.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Sorry. This was a statistic that when we found it, I couldn't believe it. This was the U.S. military deaths from Vietnam during this period, so that's a 20-year period. This is a, 11-year period of opioid overdoses? Fatal opioid overdoses, meaning not included in the numbers are people who overdosed but didn't die. This is 3 times almost. So that's why people worry if it's safe, because they hear, this is a drug to treat something, oh, I know someone that overdosed on something. Do you guys know anyone, at least one person, who's had a terrible prescription drug incident? I do. Yes, you have, yes. So this is why people get scared, because that is happening in the same realm as plant medicine. People
But
get
isn't that
confused.
also a huge part because of marijuana that gets you high, so people associate it with getting high?
Yes, and we're going to get to that, because is that dangerous? We want to know that too, right? So we'll talk about that too, for sure. So here's the truth. Every 19 minutes, somebody dies of a prescription drug overdose, it doesn't happen with cannabis. So cannabis is marijuana. There's no deaths reported from marijuana. We're gonna get to that stat here in a minute. So that is legitimately why people get scared, because truly, marijuana is a controlled substance. It's in the same category federally as heroin. They've never rescheduled it. It's something that we've been advocating for years, is just to change the scheduling of it, because FDA-approved prescription drugs, 1 million deaths during a 10-year period, food deaths during a 10-year period, 0 cannabis deaths. So it's been a lot of misinformation. It's been a lot of skewing the facts and hiding the truth, because it's a plant, but it's not killing anyone and it's helping people, and we've just been, you know, it's very frustrating. I was just randomly clicking through videos looking on things, and do you know who Lisa Ling is? Can you picture her? She's like a reporter that used to be on a talk show, but she was doing a report on women in northwestern, like I think in Portland area and somewhere in Washington. Women, cool, housewives, some of them were Mormon, and they were all addicted to OxyContin. And it's an epidemic. So that's why people get scared, even though it has nothing to do with each other. So let's talk about what it does now and how it can help and how it's helped people that we know. So now you know it is a plant. It's plant medicine, the way a lot of other plant medicine. Now you know why you haven't heard of it before. Like you said, big pharma, other reasons. Ignorance, people just don't know, so they believe the fear. They've been, you know, fed it. But the research, so there's research from 2008 to 2015, and we really just started seeing widespread research on CBDs because it hasn't been able to be researched. Research wouldn't be funded. It's been against the law and all of that, but people have been doing it. Actually, Ulm of Medicine and University of Michigan have already published a pain study, and they are working on another one right now. So if you're interested in hearing about that or participating in that, I can connect you with a research study that's going
Should
on.
have given me a study and did it for free, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, yeah, but it might be worth talking to them, so I can introduce you to Evan and Mark. So what have we been learning? So neurodegenerative disorders. So one of the people that's kind of a fan of ours, is it John Wright? He was the first guy that we talked to.
Was it
That he
Witt?
owns,
Witt, I think it was.
Yeah, he owns some, you know, home care, not home care, but nursing home
Nursing
facilities.
homes,
Yeah. And one of the things, and he has some patients that are going into hospice, right? They're transitioning into hospice. And one of the things that he realized was CBDs can calm that entire situation, and he is really wanting more dignified process there for everyone, families, people suffering, all of that, and that's why he's a big advocate. So that has been huge. Anxiety and depression. So one of the things that I heard when I got here is, oh, I've been on ADD medication, oh, I've been on allergy medication, and I have too, and I set a goal a couple of years ago to get off any prescription drugs at all, and I did it. And I'm a big fan of completely natural healing, so I believe in cleaning out the toxins in your body and all of that. And again, I've probably been very, very lucky, but one of the things that I've been super grateful for is CBDs and cannabis when it comes to pain relief, from everything from menstrual cramps to helping to focus, to sleep. And so it's a daily supplement for me. And Julie hears stories every day because she's the consultant that people come in and talk to. And there's several ways that we work with people. So let's say someone, let me go through a couple more things here. So some more studies that have been done on seizures, inflammation, anxiety, and sleep. So last night a woman who didn't want to go on camera because she was with the VA or something, she was nervous, but she talked about, oh no, that was two different people. but she talked about her wife has MS. And since she started using cannabis, one of the doctors at the VA is like, yes, keep doing this, this is working. And the other one doesn't want to have anything to do with it, even though it's working with her. Another lady talked to us about anti-tumoral. So her dog had a big tumor in his leg, and they were going to amputate his leg. So this was her story. She was like, he's old, I don't think he can handle having his leg amputated, I don't want to do that. So she started the drops and the joint dog chews and rubbing this tincture and balm on her dog's leg, and the tumor's going down. So she didn't want to go on camera and say it because of something, but she was a great story. So here's another powerful story. Charlotte Fiji, have you guys ever heard of that name? So this is a famous child in the world of cannabis because before she was 3 years old, or by the time she was 5 years old, she was having around 300 seizures a week. So it's a condition called Dravet, D-R-A-V-E-T, Dravet syndrome. And of course, like any parent would, she was researching, what can we do, what's happening, and the medicine that she was giving her child were keeping her not developing kind of like a zombie. Nothing was working. So she found through a kind of a parent support group that some people were using cannabis and cannabis oil, and she was very nervous, and the state she lived in was not friendly towards it at all. So they moved to Colorado, and they found a grower that was growing a very specific plant that it was super high CBD, very low THC. And they named it Charlotte's Web. And so, you've heard of Charlotte's Web?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they named it Charlotte's Web after her, because this is her probably about a year ago. And she's at her normal, development now. Yeah, so you can look up, there's a CNN 2013 about her parents and her and what they did, and it's about, so if you Google like CNN, Charlotte's Web. So what do you need to know about CBDs? One is, you can get it anywhere. It's totally legal. You can get it at Whole Foods, you can get it at Plum Market, you can just go get it. It's very, you can get it in tincture, you can get it in a freeze, you can get it in a capsule, you can get it in a candy or something like that. Because it's just like you can take ginger and make it into a tea, or put raw ginger in your food, or you can get a ginger spice. It's just, you can take the plant and distill it into different pure forms, right? The same way you can do with turmeric, the same way you can do with coffee, and put it in different forms. So why does it matter where you get it from? So let me ask you this. Do you care where your vegetables that you eat come from? Why?
How are they grown? What
Yeah.
is the quality of the soil and so on.
Right. Yep. And do you care where, if you eat meat, do you care where the meat comes from?
Yes, not factory farm.
Right, exactly. So most people, you can get whatever you want anywhere, but there's a reason why you choose to live here, or there's a reason why you filter your water, or there's a reason why you want to know the farmer who grew those chickens, and you want to see how they were raised. So the reason why we talk about sourcing is because people will take advantage of something for money. Isn't that right? Yes. So Julie was doing some research for her presentation on Monday night and went on the, what was your?
FDA.
The FDA website to see if they started doing tests on CBD products, because now it's federally legal, and so they're doing a lot of testing now and putting out the results. And the important results were that out of all these products they tested, some of them had just barely trace
0.1.
amounts,
If any.
if any, and they were being labeled that way. And others were exactly what they said they were. And so when you go to a trusted source, you can meet someone who either says, I know the person that makes this, or we have lab tests, and that's why we carry this, because not all providers are the same.
And I just want to say, because I believe in a second, sorry to interrupt you,
No, it's
but
okay.
Dory Edwards, who owns Bloom City, right?
Mhm.
Does she co-own or own it?
Cool.
Yeah. She's a friend of mine, I've known her for many years. We took women to Jamaica for a healing trip, and I know she's a very natural woman. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
you know, personally, I know her and I'm a holistic person and she's a very holistic person. So if I'm already sold on this stuff and I'm gonna get my dad going because his memory's going like that. But Dory is a trusted friend, and so if you were to go anywhere, go here.
Yeah, so what we want to do, here's something that Julie offers to do for people. So for example, let's say somebody says, I really want to ask my doctor about this, but I'm really afraid, I don't even know how to start asking these questions. We can either role play it with you, or give you a list of things to ask, or go with you. Because some people, we have heard stories like, I was on all of these medications, for 2.5 years, and my doctor was going to give me one more, and that really scared my daughter, who's a nurse. So I approached him and said, any chance I can try cannabis? And he said, I've been waiting for you to ask, because our policy here is we can't be the first person to bring it up. That's their policy in that office, but it's like to cover themselves. So once she got on it, remember that testimony I got on the phone that day? It was the lady who fell off. She worked on power lines and she fell down. She gained like 50 pounds. She was on OxyContin, all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and she slowly backed up and, it was able to move again and start moving again. It was because she brought it up and her doctor finally said, now we can talk about it. And so they worked on it together. But that's something, if you're like my mom asking me this summer, do you think something that you hear could help my friend's son? I ended up talking to the lady on the phone in South Carolina, and she was real nervous. I'm like, this is legal. It's okay, right? Now, someone might talk to Julie, and she might understand that some THC is good, right? So there's some, the lady that we talked to on Monday night, who was on oxycodone and is in extreme pain. She's on a high CBD, kind of like mid-THC balance that she has figured out. Here's something that that is important to realize, is like anything. Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan.
Okay, all right.
Guys.
See you later.
I'll text you about my own consult.
Okay, yes, we'll be in touch.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming, everybody.
Yes. So, how many of you handle caffeine really well? Oh, okay. See?
Probably.
Yeah, see, if I have caffeine after like 10 or 11, I'm a nut, right? I'm just like, I either crash, or I can't sleep, or my stomach hurts. AM. So, how many of you guys react really well to cheese? Okay, yeah. So some people would die if they ate cheese. So it's important to know you don't just start taking everything, right? Oh, I've heard this helps. I'm going to eat a whole bunch of these chews and give my dog a whole bunch. It's important to, just like anything, just like how do I handle sugar? How much sleep do I need? How much water do I drink? What happens to me when I am in too much sun? Whatever it is for you, you should, if you're trying something new, even if it's a supplement, you don't want to overdose on vitamin D, you don't want to eat too much, drink too much caffeine. Same with this. Okay, so I'll show you some of the things we have here. We have all the educational things. We have Julie, who's the brain and the counselor. And then we have ways that people can use CBD. So I'll give you an example. For me, I have used Dory Balm for years and years. So started off rubbing it on my back because I was in pain a lot. I used to use BioFreeze, which couldn't touch my clothes and kind of burned and smelled weird. So Dory gave me this one day. I also had a friend who toured with a band, and her and all of her bandmates started like wrists, shoulders, and then they would be like, get us more of the stuff. So this stuff is amazing. Pain, knees, even, what is something that I had? I had an injury or something that anyway, I used this on. So this is amazing. We have a lot of dog people that come talk to us, right? And their dog's joints are hurting, or they're slowing down, or they're not digesting, whatever, and they start supplementing for their dogs. And they start watching how their dogs react and increasing or decreasing based on that. This patch was the one that the woman was talking about, and I couldn't make a fist. Wait, here we go.
The
patch.
topical,
Yeah, the topical. Yes. So this one, and then the BioFreeze. Where is it? Here.
CBD freeze.
CBD freeze, right? So this one can stay on you for what, 96 hours? Mhm. And a lady asked this on Monday night, like, what if I get drug tested and I put this patch on my hand and is it gonna matter? It's like, they're not testing for CBDs. That's not a test. Then they're testing for heroin or THC or whatever. So what else? So there's capsules. So some people would never want to vaporize, they don't want sugar in their diet, but a simple capsule is important. If you're curious, like, what milligrams should I take? How does that work? So I have discovered, for me, there's this, actually I got it at Bloom. So you know the like chill pill thing? It's like a very high CBD.
Mhm.
It's probably like 15 milligrams of THC. I mean,
It's
CBD.
12 CBD, 3 THC.
3 THC,
Mhm.
yeah. So, and before I did that, I tried a couple other things, and what I was looking to do was reduce inflammation in my joints, sit a lot, I work on my computer a lot, I work out a lot, and you know what that's like. You try to get up, it starts hurting, everything is hurting, you want to be able to heal overnight. That has been super helpful to me. We have talked to people who have had high anxiety, and the thing that they tend to go for is a vape pen. And the reason is because it's pretty quick release into your system, and it tends to, what people have told us, is it tends to stave off that panicky attack.
How would you use that?
The vape pen?
Yeah.
Is this it? Okay. So
Yeah,
this is a
there's-
little, can I just show her?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So this is just, it's just air, right? And I've never used one of these before, so I do here.
The hole goes by the mouth. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just smoke it.
Mhm.
Right, but it's just vapor.
It's not combusting, it's just vapor. Uh-huh.
It's
I
vapor.
mean, you just
There's a
suck it
little
in.
bit of essential oil in here.
Mhm.
There's the test results right there of what's in there. So I put my mouth on this, just so you know.
Okay.
I hope I'm the first.
We
I don't
won't
know if
sell
I am.
it.
So, there's coffee in here. So we've tried to make it, this is another vape pen. Julie, do you want to say anything else about the products? Because you talk to more people face to face about products than me.
Sure, yeah, let me talk a little about the product. There's a lot of different ways that you can take CBD into the body, and that's why we have different products. One of the things that we talk about is the layering system. So when you want to get CBD in the body, you want to hit different endocannabinoid receptors. Remember that picture I showed you, and it's also in this one here, in this CBD brochure, that has the different CBD, the endocannabinoid receptors. That they're all over the body. So, there's ones in the stomach that you don't have and other places. So if you take a CBD product and you ingest it, like a capsule or a tincture, and it gets into the body, then it's going to be absorbed in the endocannabinoid receptors in the stomach, okay? And I like to layer the different receptors so you can get them in, if you put the stuff on the skin, or